Shannon Sharp just dropped a bombshell as Hollywood's most powerful figures scrambling for cover. The man who turned his podcast into the most feared platform in entertainment just claimed he's taking evidence straight to the FBI about Oprah and Diddy's alleged connections. And let me tell you, the reaction from Hollywood's elite tells us everything we need to know about how deep this rabbit hole goes. What started as whispers behind closed doors has exploded into a full-scale investigation that's got A-listers deleting social media accounts, shutting down businesses, and hiring the best lawyers money can buy. Because when Shannon Sharp speaks, people listen. And when he threatens to expose secrets, entire empires start to crumble. Club Shay Shay didn't just become a podcast. It became a confessional booth where Hollywood's biggest names spill secrets they never intended to share. Since that explosive Cat Williams interview that broke the internet, Shannon's platform has transformed into something the entertainment industry never saw coming. A place where truth actually matters more than image control. The numbers don't lie. Over 50 million views and counting, with every episode becoming a potential career-ending moment for someone. Celebrities who used to control every word in their interviews suddenly find themselves opening up about things they swore they'd take to their graves. There's something about Shannon's approach that makes even the most guarded stars feel safe enough to reveal their darkest secrets. And that's exactly what's got the power players terrified. Because Shannon doesn't just ask softball questions and move on. He creates an environment where people forget they're being recorded, where decades of buried trauma and hidden knowledge suddenly pour out like water through a broken dam. But none of this would have been possible without the man who essentially prophesied the entire downfall we're witnessing today. Cat Williams sat in that chair back in January 2024 and delivered what might be the most accurate prediction in entertainment history. All lies will be exposed in 2024, he said with the confidence of someone who knew exactly what was coming. He didn't stop there. Williams looked directly into that camera and declared that all big D **** deviants would be catching hell this year. At the time, people thought he was just being his usual controversial self. Nobody realized he was essentially reading Hollywood's future like an open book. Every single thing he predicted has come to pass with terrifying accuracy. The age of truth didn't just arrive. It kicked down the door with federal agents and search warrants. Williams wasn't making wild claims. He was giving us a roadmap to the biggest entertainment industry collapse in modern history. And Shannon Sharp became the perfect vehicle for delivering that truth to the masses. September 2024 became the month that changed everything. Federal agents stormed multiple properties connected to Sean Diddy Combs, and what they found painted a picture so disturbing that even hardened investigators were shocked. We're talking about 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants, 96 electronic devices, and evidence of activities that allegedly went on for decades. The Brooklyn Detention Center became Diddy's new home, and despite offering $50 million in bail, the courts decided he was too dangerous to release. This wasn't just another celebrity scandal. This was a federal investigation into allegations that could destroy lives and end careers across the entire entertainment landscape. But here's where it gets really interesting. The moment Diddy's arrested the headlines, panic spread through Hollywood like wildfire. Usher immediately deleted his entire Twitter history. Kevin Hart mysteriously shut down all 4 of his successful vegan restaurants in California, claiming business reasons that nobody believed. Even Kim Kardashian had been promoting those restaurants just weeks before, calling his meatless burgers amazing. The timing wasn't coincidental. Diddy had moved back to New York 11 days before his arrest because he knew federal agents were coming for him. And if he knew, you can bet he warned his closest associates about what was about to unfold. The entire celebrity ecosystem went into damage control mode before most people even knew there was damage to control. Those disturbing videos of Diddy with a 15-year-old Justin Bieber started resurfacing, and suddenly everyone was asking the questions they should have been asking decades ago. Why was a 40-year-old man claiming legal guardianship over a teenage pop star? What exactly was happening during those private moments that Diddy bragged about but couldn't really disclose because it was definitely a 15-year-old's dream? The evidence suggests that what happened in those Beverly Hills mansions wasn't just inappropriate. It was potentially criminal. And now federal investigators are working their way through a list of party attendees that reads like a who's who of Hollywood royalty. While everyone was focused on Diddy's downfall, Shannon Sharp was quietly building a case against an even bigger target. Oprah Winfrey had managed to maintain her pristine public image for decades, but cracks were starting to show long before Shannon entered the picture. Her handling of the Monique situation revealed a side of Oprah that didn't match her carefully crafted persona. Monique had been blackballed from Hollywood for years after refusing to play Oprah's promotional games, and when she finally spoke her truth, the entertainment industry tried to destroy her completely. But Monique's story wasn't isolated. Rose McGowan called Oprah fake as they come, accusing her of supporting a sick power structure for personal gain. The Singer Seal posted a meme showing Oprah kissing Harvey Weinstein with the caption, "When you've been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution." These weren't random attacks from bitter celebrities. They were pieces of a puzzle that Shannon Sharp was quietly assembling, and when he finally revealed the full picture, even Oprah's most loyal defenders couldn't ignore what they were seeing. Her connections to Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Russell Simmons, and now Diddy weren't coincidences. They were patterns. And patterns tell stories that public relations teams can't spin away. According to insider reports that are shaking Hollywood to its core, Shannon Sharp didn't just threaten to expose secrets. He actually provided testimony that could bring down multiple entertainment industry giants. Sources claim that his testimony contained details about behind-the-scenes activities that Oprah and Diddy had spent millions trying to keep buried. The reaction was immediate and telling. Oprah, who built her career on staying calm under pressure, allegedly went into full panic mode. Not the composed media mogul we see in public, but someone who was deeply rattled and scrambling to contain the fallout. Insiders describe urgent phone calls, mobilized inner circles, and damage control efforts that felt more like desperation than strategy. Shannon had apparently blown the doors off an entire vault of secrets, and with federal investigators already building cases against other entertainment industry figures, the stakes couldn't have been higher. This wasn't just about protecting reputations anymore. This was about avoiding potential criminal charges. But Shannon's testimony was only the beginning. What really has Hollywood's power players losing sleep is the growing list of witnesses and evidence that federal investigators have compiled. We're talking about 50-plus witnesses who have spoken to authorities, and according to legal experts, some of those witnesses were likely participants in the activities they're now testifying about. The question isn't whether more celebrities will be implicated. It's how many and how high up the food chain this investigation will reach. Names like Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, Kelly Osbourne, Justin Bieber, and Usher have all been mentioned as potential witnesses or persons of interest. These aren't fringe players. These are A-list celebrities with everything to lose. Federal prosecutors have made it clear that this remains an active investigation with the potential for additional charges against Diddy and possibly others. The standard playbook in these situations is to pressure witnesses with the threat of prosecution unless they cooperate fully. And when you're dealing with celebrities who have carefully constructed public images worth hundreds of millions of dollars, that pressure becomes incredibly effective. The parallels to the Jeffrey Epstein case are impossible to ignore, but there's a crucial difference this time. Public appetite for accountability has reached a tipping point where wealth and fame might not be enough to escape justice. People are demanding to know why rich and powerful individuals consistently avoid consequences for their actions, while regular citizens face the full weight of the law. Kevin Hart's nervous jokes about wrestling over Frosted Flakes with Diddy when they were children take on a much darker context when you consider what federal investigators believe was happening behind closed doors. Even Hart seemed uncomfortable making those comments, quickly trying to change the subject when he realized how inappropriate his words sounded. But the most disturbing footage involves Justin Bieber as a teenager, with Diddy claiming he had legal guardianship and bragging about experiences that were definitely a 15-year-old's dream. Watching those videos now, with everything we know about what allegedly happened at Diddy's parties, raises questions that demand answers from law enforcement. Through all of this chaos, Shannon Sharp has remained remarkably composed and focused. Despite facing what appear to be coordinated attacks designed to discredit him, including bizarre allegations about live-streamed animal abuse that nobody with functioning brain cells actually believes, Shannon has continued building his media empire. The launch of Side Dish as a companion show demonstrates that he's not backing down or scaling back his truth-telling mission. If anything, he's doubling down on the approach that has made him the most feared interviewer in entertainment. Because when you're dealing with people who have spent decades hiding behind carefully constructed public images, fear is often the most honest emotion they can display. Those alleged character assassination attempts actually backfired spectacularly because they demonstrated just how desperate Shannon's enemies have become. When you resort to making up stories about someone abusing animals on social media, you're basically admitting that you can't attack their actual credibility or the substance of what they're saying. Shannon himself acknowledged that he didn't anticipate the rippling effect of his commitment to truth-telling, but he also made it clear that he understands what comes with that territory. The man who transformed from sports commentator to Hollywood's most dangerous interviewer isn't intimidated by powerful people making threatening phone calls or spreading false rumors. The entertainment industry has spent decades operating on a foundation of silence, mutual protection, and carefully controlled narratives. Shannon Sharp represents something they never prepared for. Someone with a platform, credibility, and absolutely nothing to lose who refuses to play by their rules. Cat Williams predicted that 2024 would be the year when all lies will be exposed. And as we approach the final months of the year, his prophecy has been fulfilled in ways that nobody could have imagined. The Diddy arrest was just the beginning of what appears to be a complete restructuring of power dynamics in Hollywood. Shannon Sharp didn't just interview celebrities. He became the catalyst for the most significant reckoning the entertainment industry has ever faced. His willingness to provide testimony and evidence to federal investigators represents a complete rejection of the code of silence that has protected powerful predators for generations. Oprah's carefully crafted image as America's moral authority is crumbling under the weight of evidence that she was much more aware of industry corruption than she ever admitted. Her connections to multiple disgraced powerful men weren't coincidental. They were strategic relationships that benefited her empire while potentially enabling their harmful behavior toward others. The most chilling aspect of this entire situation is how many people knew what was happening and chose to remain silent for years or even decades. The open secret culture of Hollywood created an environment where criminal behavior was tolerated as long as it stayed behind closed doors and didn't affect profit margins. But Shannon Sharp changed the entire equation by creating a platform where truth-telling became more valuable than reputation management. When celebrities started competing to share their most shocking stories on Club Shay Shay, they inadvertently provided law enforcement with leads and evidence that traditional investigative methods might never have uncovered. The ripple effects are still spreading throughout the entertainment industry, and every day brings new revelations about the scope of alleged criminal activity that federal investigators are uncovering. The Brooklyn Detention Center, where Diddy sits awaiting trial, has become a symbol of how far the mighty can fall when their protection systems finally collapse. What makes this story even more compelling is how it validates everything that outsiders and victims have been saying about Hollywood for years. The conspiracy theories that were dismissed as the rantings of disgruntled former employees or bitter ex-partners are being proven accurate by federal indictments and witness testimony. Shannon Sharp's decision to take evidence directly to the FBI represents a fundamental shift in how celebrity scandals are handled. Instead of relying on media coverage and public opinion, he's chosen to work within the legal system to ensure that actual justice is served rather than just career consequences. The entertainment industry will never be the same after 2024. Too many secrets have been exposed, too many powerful people have been implicated, and too much evidence has been presented to federal investigators for things to simply return to business as usual. Oprah Winfrey, who spent decades positioning herself as the moral center of American entertainment, now finds herself answering questions about her relationships with multiple accused predators and her role in silencing their victims. The woman who built an empire on trust and authenticity is facing credibility challenges that threaten the foundation of everything she's built. Shannon Sharp, meanwhile, has positioned himself as the most trusted voice in celebrity journalism by consistently choosing truth over access, accountability over friendship, and justice over profit. His transformation from athlete to media mogul to federal witness represents something unprecedented in entertainment history. The final chapter of this story hasn't been written yet, but the trajectory is clear. More arrests are coming, more witnesses will come forward, and more secrets will be exposed. Because once the dam breaks, there's no controlling where the water flows. And that's exactly what Shannon Sharp understood from the beginning. Truth has its own momentum, and once you commit to following it wherever it leads, you become unstoppable. Hollywood's power structure was built on lies, manipulation, and mutual protection. Shannon Sharp decided to blow it all up and let the pieces fall where they may. The age of truth that Cat Williams predicted isn't just changing Hollywood. It's changing how we think about celebrity, power, and accountability in America. And Shannon Sharp isn't just documenting that change. He's driving it forward with every interview, every revelation, and every decision to choose justice over comfort. This is what real power looks like when it's used to protect victims instead of predators. This is what happens when someone with a platform decides that truth matters more than maintaining access to exclusive parties and private jets. This is a reckoning that Hollywood spent decades trying to avoid, delivered by the one person they never saw coming. Shannon Sharp didn't just expose Oprah and Diddy. He exposed an entire system, and now that system is fighting for its survival, while federal investigators decide who goes to prison and who gets to keep their freedom. The most powerful people in entertainment are discovering that their protection was always an illusion, and reality has a way of shattering illusions when the truth finally comes to light.